I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a thing. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
I do this for the kids who sit a bit outside the mix, who maybe cope through humor just to fit in for a bit, who never let the world know when depression's setting in. To all of those who know you, that impression don't exist, and it ain't counterfeit, it's just a way to counter it. I'm living things I dreamed about, I still encounter it. It ain't something that a cigarette or alcohol can fix, but all because of it I flipped it quick, went on to write some hits. This a success, off another breath. This the first step in searching to be nothing less than be the best in what you do, to prove their strength in being you. Learn so much in chasing dreams that I never would in school. Depends on where your passion lie, just no passion never lie. Life presents distractions, but your actions have to fortify the things that you believe in. Have to scream it like a battle cry, and leave the ones who didn't looking stupid while they're asking why. Couldn't lie, I really do this for the ones I love, those who treat the music as a vice and lyrics like a drug, those who need advice on how to lift their spirit high enough to break out of the box they make up lives they know aren't good enough. Just because it's how it is don't mean it's how it has to be. This is what the uninspired testifiers fail to see. Jealousy results from being that which others fail to be, and if it means you're not with me, that honestly sounds fair to me.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a thing. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
Do this for my mother, she'll be working for the summer. Do this for my father, cause these days I often wonder what my life would have been like if I was not adopted. To grow up in a home where I was treated like a problem. I don't know, it's just a guess. Your guess probably good as mine. Lucky that I grew up in a home that wanted me to shine. Lucky that I grew up around some mountains we were taught to climb. Without that inspiration, I don't think that this would be my life. Do this for my friends who've scattered all across the country now. I'm out in Sweden walking back through life so I can write it down. Make a living off the sound, so crazy to say out loud. I'm the biggest thing since Travis Rice to come up out the town. Sorry, gotta stunt a little. Used to have my dreams belittled, but it's all a part of it. I know people's minds are fickle, lines between reality and dreams I blur like faded nights. Come up been so good for me, I wish that I could make it twice.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a thing. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
Y'all, thank you guys for being here tonight. Shout out to my father. I do this for you, Pops. Thank you guys for being here. I know it's Thursday and it's football night. You guys know the deal. We're talking SEC tonight. That's what the show is. That's the theme. And I'm going to take all your questions. Now, if you're watching us on TikTok, shout out to the 50 people over there. It'll get up to 100 here shortly. Hey, if you got questions, you want to make comments and talk to me, all you have to do, move over to YouTube and drop it in. The link's up here. Go to my YouTube, join us on the live stream, and drop in the question. I'll answer it. Make sure the question is SEC related. I will briefly go over what's trending today in sports. I want to admit something to you guys. I kept it light. I want to talk about the SEC and get the hell out of here. We got games tonight to watch. I got a lot of things going on in my life. Big move here. If you guys didn't know, the amazing, wonderful Kim Jones is moving. She's moving from Virginia to Georgia, and that's happening today. So tonight, the beautiful Miss Kim Jones is actually on the road right now, getting ready to move. Come down here, and we'll become one. We've been waiting to do this for a while. Don't make announcements like that often, but it'll be sweet to have the same roof over both our heads and living here in Georgia. So that's a big move in our lives. Shout out to us, but let's get after it. Enough of that talk. Here we go. So what's happening in the world of sports? Well, firstly, shout out to all the people out there who really back us, bro. I hope I'm loud enough, by the way. We've been dealing with this mic issue for a couple days now. If anybody can let me know how I sound on the mic, YouTube only, how am I doing with the mic Somebody let me know how we sound. Are we too low or are we loud enough? I need a thumbs up. I need a heads up before I go on. Thank you. I should do my mic test before I get in here, but I don't. Perfect audio. Thank you so much. Okay, so here we go. Here's what's happening, guys. We're taking over the damn world. If you guys didn't know, we are taking over the world. I got Ash humping my arm, but here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We are 7th in the world right now on the College Pick'em. It's your last chance to get in right before the games start, but we are 7th in the world in College Pick'em. Now, the Pick'em scores in the games, I don't think they're from any games tonight or tomorrow, if I remember correctly. I think all the games are from Saturday, so you might have some time. But if you're watching this show right now, or if you're watching on TikTok, it's really easy to do. All you need to do, go to ESPN, click on the Fantasy tab, go to the College Pick'em 2023. When you get into College Pick'em, their games home 2023. You're going to go in there. We're going with the mode of confidence. And then you find, after you pick all your groups, you go to Rico Knows. We're at 1,120 entries. We're beating an ESPN group. I know ESPN now knows me, bruh. They know me. Whoever's running this game is saying, who the hell is Rico Knows? Google me, bruh. Ask your mom. That's who I am. We're going to beat people. We're out here. The next group is hard to catch, but we're ahead of every single football team in America. I don't care if you're a fan of a team. You're not beating us. We're sitting at 1,100 plus. Shout out to me. Shout out to you. Now, let's see if those 1,000 people can beat me. It's bound to happen. Someone's going to win. Remember, if you win the group, I'm giving you $100 worth of merchandise. Okay? If you're the winner at the end of the season, you're getting $100 worth of merchandise. I'm going to go ahead and say if you finish in 2nd through 5th place, I'm going to send you a free shirt, a Rico Knows shirt. It'll be your choice. It'll either be Rico Knows. Your friends don't know, but Rico knows. Or I'm going to have it say on the front, want to see a dead body? You're going to get a free shirt, but if you're in 1st place, you're getting all kinds of shit. You might even get a throw blanket, keeping it real, okay? Before we get into that, I want to make sure, 1 second. Ah, man, I just messed up. That's okay. I put an R in something and I didn't mean to. There we go. Thank you very much. My dog is barking. We're going to get into the show. I apologize. All right, so what's trending? What's trending? Come on, guys, don't do this to me. Sorry about that. Here we go. Patriots. Patriots have claimed a quarterback off the waiver wire. If you didn't hear, Matt Corral got released. Matt Corral got released by the Panthers. This is an Ole Miss quarterback, a California kid, somebody we believe in, and this man got released, and they picked him up. Shout out to Bill Belichick for giving up on Bailey Zappi. When you pick someone up off the waiver wire, they must go on your 53 roster. This means Bailey Zappi will stay on the practice squad. He will not be activated to the active roster. There is no more quarterback controversy. Outside of, is Matt Corral going to be able to play better than Mac Jones? If you ever wanted Matt Corral to get a shot in the NFL, this is his shot. Get with the quarterback guru. Get with some offensive coordinators that believe in you. But here you go. Matt Corral, now a New England Patriot. Get excited. That's pretty damn cool. I'm going to make a video on it later just so we're aware. TJ Hawkinson signs a historic deal for tight ends. Let me explain this, though. Let me explain why I don't mind this. TJ Hawkinson, yes, he's making an insane amount of money. 4 years, $66 million up to $68 million. That's way too much money for a tight end. Is it warranted? I don't know. But what I can tell you is the reason I'm not mad at Hawkinson for this move is he waited until they made their cuts. You wait until they make their cuts. You wait until everybody gets their contract. Now the season's about to start. If there's any money left over in the salary cap, now it doesn't hurt to go ask for an extension, a renegotiation or re-signing. That's great job right there. Instead of holding your team hostage all offseason and demanding a pay raise, and they can't sign any free agents, and they can't sign the draft picks, and they can't sign anybody that they want to pick up in free agency or off the waiver wire, whatever it is, you wait until they do all the roster moves, and then you go, hey, man, I saw we had some leftover cookies over there. Right? Remember, it's a pie. It's a pizza. When NFL teams make money, The owners get their money. That revenue is totally different from what the players get. So anybody who says, oh, man, Rico, the owners are not paying. They're keeping all the money. They don't want to pay this guy. No, the owners have nothing to do with that. The owners already made the determination. Players will get 48% of the revenue. They get 52. That's it. Now, how that 48 gets spent and allocated, that's not even the owner's call. It's the GM's call. The GM makes those determinations. And that's why he gets fired if a contract fails or the team fails. So the GM determines the player's piece of pie over here and how we split it up among all the 53 guys. And here's Hawkinson. He says, man, there's some leftover pizza right there. Hey, somebody left a slice here. Can I get it? And he got it. Shout out to him. I like the way he carried himself. Wait until the end of the offseason to get your deal done. And if the team promised, hey, we'd re-sign you, just wait for, after cut Tuesday, then more power to them. But I like the way they handled their business, getting yourself $42 million guaranteed. Shout out to you. Good job, Hawkinson. You're on the map, bruh. Now go play football and don't get hurt. I'm still laughing about this. We got Fabricio Verdum. By the way, W's are pronounced with V's. Verdum versus Junior Dos Santos. These guys are old as hell, and they're from Brazil, but they're fighting in a bare-knuckle MMA fight without going through USADA or going through WADA. They're not going through anti-doping agencies. They're taking every quote-unquote vitamin that they want to take. They've already been on record talking about this. These men look like specimens, bro. They're ripped. They're 40-something years old, 39 years old, whatever it is. Look at them in the best shape of their lives. This is a freak show. This is not possible. But they're both taking everything in the world to be as strong and beautiful as they want to be. They're laughing about it. They're eating good. They're not cutting weight. They're not doing anything wrong. They don't have to they're not getting piss tested at all. This dude said he's 13% body fat, down from 22. Homies look ripped. They're ready to scrap. I think it's pretty neat. People want to see some freaks fighting. More power to them. They're not going to be, I hope they're not going to be too long in the ring, because they will be winded if they're taking that wind straw and all that other stuff. Who knows what they're taking? Who knows what they're taking? Today's discussion is the SEC. Let's get to it before I get to your questions. So week 1, the SEC looked extremely weak. Obviously, week 0, Hawaii showing up into town, and Vandy did not blow them out. It was 35-28. Vandy couldn't win the Mountain West as far as I'm concerned. But anyways, tonight's game is Florida versus Utah. Everybody's talking about it. I just talked about it. Utah's quarterback is injured. Shout out to Cam Rising. He is doubtful for the game. He will not be playing. They got backups on backups, but what they do have is Quentin Jackson, their starting running back, who used to be a great dual-threat quarterback. He does not catch passes. He's not a pass-catching threat. But Mikey Matthews is. So is Micah Pittman. And they had Pittman just transferring from Florida State, former Oregon wide receiver, great blocking wide receiver, but they're telling me he's running routes and looking smooth. Shout out to him. Mikey Matthews, though, the best 3-star kid I saw on tape last year. You guys know I watch a lot of high school film. You guys have seen my high school reaction film. I watch so much high school film. When I turned on the tape and saw Mikey Matthews beating Cormani McLean, winning reps at the National All-Star Game, winning reps every single day at practice, in games all season long, plays at a very high level in Southern California. Shout out to Utah. They look stacked. Okay? Now, Florida. Florida, for me, their best defensive lineman is Princely Humanley. If you guys don't know this, maybe I'm pretty sure none of you guys were following me last bowl season. But last bowl season, I got in an argument with Princely Humanley. We had a beef. You guys can't even find it. We'd have to search really far back to find it. But it was between Princely and I. He eventually had to block me because he said some inappropriate things about my 18-year-old daughter, like he wanted to meet her. Just childish shit trying to get back at me because he was embarrassed that he was out there playing in the bowl game, if that's what you call it, playing. He was just loafing around. He was quitting on plays, and I pointed him all out. Now, they tell me he's lifted a lot of weights, and I hope that inspired him to fix himself, and he's no longer loafing on plays. That's what I'm hoping for. But I doubt it. It's in his character. He doesn't look like a tough guy to me. They tell me he's a draft prospect. Cool. I wasn't impressed with his gameplay. I assessed the tape. I'm telling you, and keep my daughter's name out your mouth, Princely. You don't move me, bruh. That's real. Now, The rest of their team looks very light on the defensive line. They really do. But they have a hell of a rushing attack. They can maintain the ball. Graham Mertz is a game manager. He doesn't throw much. And if he throws for less than 20 times tonight, they win that game. Yeah, if they can stop the offense. I don't know. I feel like Utah at home, at elevation, been practicing like this, ready to go. I want to pick Utah all day long. Not having your quarterback does hurt, but I feel like Utah's got a machine over there, bro. Just a straight machine. And the last time I saw Florida, they were anemic. They were absolutely embarrassing. Okay, 30-3 in a bowl game. Oh, Rico, was a bowl game. They didn't care. All those players in that bowl game that got their ass whooped 30-3 8 months ago, those are all the players playing tonight. Those are all the guys you're going to see. Just letting you know. Give me Utah. Then I got South Dakota at Missouri. If there's a team out there using the transfer portal and no one's talking about it, it's Missouri. Missouri has so many starters from the transfer portal. If you go look it up, it'll really impress you. But they've quietly been doing it. They've got starters on defense that transferred 2 years ago. They've got so many transfers. What they don't have is belief in their quarterback. Now, I like Brady Cook. He's a good dual-threat quarterback. He rushed for over 100 yards against Georgia last year. I want to say against Tennessee. Maybe it was Tennessee. He did so good last year, and people still shit on him. People still thought he was terrible, and I don't understand it. A lot of it has to do with the fact that Sam Horn's backing him up. Sam Horn, Travis Hunter's quarterback in high school. Sam Horn's a good kid. I remember watching him play. A true story, guys. I took my father to go watch a high school football game. This was about 3 years ago. I just wanted to take him to go see this kid named Phil Maffa, backup running back at Clemson right now. And Phil Maffa was playing at a high school called Grayson. So I looked on the schedule. I think they were both 2-0 at the time, Grayson and Collins Hill. And I said, let's go watch this game. So we go watch the game. It was COVID time frame, so we had to wear a mask and all that. And we go to this game at Grayson at the high school. You got to go down a hill. You got to walk downhill to get down there. We sit on the visitor's side. And we're sitting there. We're on Collins Hill's side. We're watching the game, and we're not impressed with either team. And they were telling me Grayson is the state number 1 team in Georgia, 7A. And we're watching the game, and we're like, oh, these teams suck. We don't see any dominating players out there. Then we said, hey, man, you know what? That number 21 was all right for Collins Hill. They had a good quarterback. He's all right. And that other receiver, he was good too. I couldn't remember his name, couldn't remember anything about him. We were like, yeah, both those guys were pretty decent. I think, and we were driving home. My father's a former football coach. I'm a former football coach. We're driving home, and we have about a 2-hour drive. We get in the car, and we're like, that was pretty underwhelming. Phil Maffa didn't look like he dominated the game. They won the game. But we were just like, What we didn't realize, because we weren't from around here, is we were watching 2 very, very dominant teams. But they were evenly matched, so nobody looked, disproportionately great against the competition. Everybody was pretty even. But we thought to ourselves, there were 2 players in that game that were a little better than everybody else, and if I was coaching them, we would have won that game. That's what we said on the drive home. And the players that we were talking about were 2 players on Collins Hills, and it was Sam Horn, the backup quarterback at Missouri, and the other one was Travis Hunter. We didn't know that until we got home, and I was like, oh, we just saw Travis Hunter, Pops. Really? Oh, yeah, that was Travis Hunter. Whoa, snap. They would go on to meet each other in the state championship in a rematch. Grayson won again, but Collins Hills beat everybody else the rest of the year. It was a really unique story of just watching amazing players and not realizing it, the epiphany, because we were just not informed on who was on the field. We just went to go watch a high school football game. We just drove around until we saw lights, bruh. If you guys don't know what I'm making reference to, back in the day, that's what we used to do. Before Google, before the internet, before any of this, we used to just drive around to big cities. In Southern California, we would drive around to bigger cities and look for stadium lights on a Friday night. We would just go into town. We go to the Inland Empire, Riverside County. We wanted to go see Ike or Bloomington, Faux High, Fontana. We would just go drive into town. We're just looking for lights. Where are we going? We don't even know who we're going to see that day. And we sit down and just start watching people. Be like, yo, that's Cedric Mullins. Oh, snap. Look at that guy running right there. We were just learning people as we go. That's how we got down. You had to be there. Anyways, Missouri doesn't have a quarterback. They got 2. I don't like having 2 and not 1. They actually have 3. Jake Garcia just transferred in from Miami. But give me Missouri to win the game. I like South Dakota. I'm interested to see what they do. They're an FCS good team. More power to them. But I like what I see here. Give me a second. We got over 120 people watching. Shout out to the TikTok crew. If you got a question and you want to ask questions about the SEC, move over to YouTube. Jump in the chat over here. Hey, before you join, hit the like button. Somehow I got 120 people watching me and only 17 likes. That's absurd. Hit the like button. That'll get this out to everybody, and we can keep it moving. Now, get to Saturday's games. Virginia at Tennessee. I think Virginia doesn't have enough firepower to play with Tennessee. Tennessee's winning that game. Just too much. Ball State at Kentucky. I like Kentucky's offense like you wouldn't believe, but I also like Ball State's offense. Marquez Cooper just transferred in. Ball State had a 1,500-yard rusher last year, and Carson Still. He transferred to UCLA. So now they get Marquez Cooper. Back-to-back 1,200 and 1,300-yard seasons. Just transferred in from Kent State. Marquez Cooper looks like who's the guy? Barry Sanders? Troy Davis? Like an all-time great college running back. Gotta watch this kid. Marquez Cooper. Quez Cooper at Ball State. They're going to be playing at Kentucky. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Ball State and Kentucky. I think Ball State can score if they can just keep running the rock. We'll see what happens. But Kentucky's going to score a ton. Their offense is explosive. Barron Brown is the truth, right? Key is the truth. They have 2 amazing wide receivers. They were both freshmen last year. I think they're some of the best. You know, I was really disappointed in the SEC when they did their preseason all-voting list. They had the nerve to put certain players on the all-conference team that didn't belong there. And they left Barry and Brown off of 3 teams. You can go to the SEC and name the best receivers in the SEC. Barry and Brown is up there, and they left him off of 3 teams. He's gonna embarrass a lot of people this year. Barry and Brown is going to embarrass a lot of people in the SEC. Next, you got Western Carolina. I actually like the team a lot, but they're going out to Arkansas. It's going to be a blowout. Shout out to Arkansas. We got Mercer at Ole Miss. If you didn't know, Mercer won their first game this season. Mercer is very underwhelming. I watched the game. I went back and watched it. No, they're not good. They played Northern Alabama, I believe. They beat them, North Alabama. But give me Ole Miss to win and win big. I like Ole Miss this year, man. UMass, very improved team. You saw them beat New Mexico State, a bowl team. I think UMass is going to be able to play with Auburn. Auburn's good. Auburn's hopeful. UMass just has Don Brown, and he's the doctor of the blitz. He just knows what to do. I think UMass isn't bad. We'll see what happens, but I don't think they're bad. Now, Auburn, they got a ton of talent in the transfer portal. They got to put it together, but I think they have depth issues all across the board. Depth issues. They're 1 deep at every position. It's pretty scary. But any of the backups, if you try to convince me that they're great, they're not, especially on the defensive line. But losing Demaro Tolan, the transfer from LSU, I thought that hurt because he was supposed to be one of the linebackers contributing, along with Larry Nix in the third, who I think should be starting. If he's not starting, what happened? But give me Auburn in that game, though. I think it's just going to be surprisingly competitive, maybe. Southeast Louisiana at Mississippi State. The Lions, Southeast Louisiana Lions. Let me tell you guys, Southeastern or Southeast? Southeastern. It doesn't matter. The Lions from Louisiana, 2 of their best players transferred. Zy Alexander, he just transferred to LSU, and the other kid, Gage Larvadain, just transferred to Miami of Ohio. So they're down 2 studs. I don't know how they recover from that. Mississippi State should probably win that game. UT Martin at Georgia, give me a break. Shout out to Georgia for starting the season against their little sister. New Mexico at Texas A&M. I think New Mexico is going to impress some people. Everybody's telling me Texas A&M's better this year. They're improved and all this thing. Watch New Mexico be improved. They lost 10 games last year. Watch New Mexico at least show up to play a little bit. Yep. They got a new everything. They did well in the transfer portal. They got transfers from TCU, UAB. Their offensive coordinator was the former head coach at UAB, Brian Vincent. Their starting quarterback is Hopkins. They got a great junior college wide receiver. I think they got enough to score some points. Trust me, A&M got pressed by UMass last year. Almost got beat by UMass. What were they? They were up 3-0 at half, something like that. Let me just tell you. Alabama, A&M, and Vanderbilt. This time Vanderbilt's going to be fine. Middle Tennessee and Alabama. Obviously, Bama will be fine. North Carolina at South Carolina. I got South Carolina winning that game. I think North Carolina is not going to be nearly as good as their ranking this year. Even if they win this game, they're still not as good as their ranking, trust me. I just don't see it. And then in the final game of the week, LSU at Florida State. I've been torn on this all day, every day. I think when I did the ACC picks, I picked LSU. This time around, I'm picking Florida State. That way we can clip either one, and I'll always be right. No, in all seriousness, Florida State's very senior-laden. You're coming into their stadium, starting their quest to win 10, 11, 12 games this year, whatever it is. I still think LSU matches up well, but give me Florida State. Give me Jordan Travis figuring it out. Got stud wide receivers. Give me Florida State at home. I think home field advantage really matters. So, recapping all the picks, I got Utah tonight, Missouri, Tennessee, Kentucky, Arkansas, Ole Miss, Auburn. It's not hard. They play scrubs, y'all. Mississippi State, Georgia, A&M, Vandy, Alabama, South Carolina, and Florida State. I only picked against LSU, and I only picked against Florida. That's it. So, time for your guys' questions. If you got questions, move over to the YouTube. We can make it happen. Thank you guys for the 6 likes we got. Let's go to the top and see what everybody's talking about. Good day, sir. Good day, Boss Omar. Good to see you, brother. Somebody says they're ready. I'm ready. What's up? AJ Interview says, what's good, everyone? Remember, today is SEC Day. Ask your SEC questions. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Yeah, I'm trying to get the hell out of here, grab something to eat, and watch the games tonight. They start soon. So with your first question, I have to ask, was it smart for Luther Burden to stay at Missouri? He is for sure could have been a number 1 wide receiver at a school like Georgia, who had an option, rumor was. So I don't like rumors. You cannot be telling me he had an option to go to Georgia when the team's leading receiver went to Georgia, and he's not the number 1. So, no, Luther Burden isn't the number 1. He was the number 1 freshman wide receiver in the SEC. That's cool. Former 5-star guy, kind of short, but he stayed home. And I think staying home and being loyal to your school is important, and I think he has continuity with his quarterback. But Luther Burden, for me, is not quite there, man. He's not the guy. He can be. He can break out this year and do great things. But you're limited by your quarterback. Going to Georgia is not where star wide receivers want to go. Ask A.D. Mitchell. He had 28 receptions last year. Anybody not named Ladd McConkey had less than 2 catches a game. If you're a wide receiver and you're getting less than 2 targets a game, 2 receptions a game, that's not where you transfer to. You'd much rather transfer to a place with an offensive scheme where they're throwing the ball. Shout out to Kentucky. Shout out to Ole Miss. This is why star wide receivers are transferring to other schools. And it makes you wonder, why did Ra Thomas go to Georgia? Is it like people just believe the hype? The top receivers at Georgia have transferred out of there for the last 2 years now, right? 2 years now. So what are we doing? No, Luther Burden's fine. Stay home. Welcome in. Guessing from the pick, you can tell it's SEC Thursday. Please congratulate Florida for scheduling their first road game against a Power 5 outside of the state of Florida in 30 years. It just means more. Yeah, Steve's trying to prove a serious point here. Most guys don't. These SEC teams don't travel for their games. They don't want to. They're going to just stay home. They'll play at neutral sites. Even Bama playing Texas. They're playing in Dallas. They're not playing at home in a stadium. They don't want to do it. They refuse. It's just part of the deal. I had Jamal Jarrett on the podcast around 2 years ago. Do you think he makes an impact for Georgia this year? AJ Interviews, Jamal Jarrett, for me, is one of the least desirable prospects I've seen. I don't understand why he's in school. I wouldn't have given him a scholarship. Some of the things he's done, obviously there was the arrest issue. Everybody says he was innocent. That's fine. What I have issue with is he was tweeting inappropriate things after the NFL draft. The common denominator for like 3 different headaches has been Jamal Jarrett. I find him extremely immature. You could have gotten anybody else. You're Georgia. You could have recruited anyone else with less than desirable character concerns, right? Or less than desirable character. You could have got anybody else. I'm not a fan of Jamal Jarrett. Let him prove me wrong, but I've kind of made my assessment on that young man. AJ Interview says, is this a Barian Brown breakout year? He broke out last year. I think he's great. So shout out to Kentucky and having a great wide receiver. He's extremely fast, guys. One of the fastest dudes in America. Mike Yarborough says, Auburn outlook, concerns with the D-line, valid concerns, and the ability to stop the run, 8 wins possible in Freeze's year 1. I don't think so. Let me go back. I did a top 25 new coaching hires. So here's my top 25 new coaching hires, and I've already assessed their roster. If you want to know what I think about them, but I have Hugh Freeze winning 6 games year 1. So I have Auburn winning 6 games. That was my prediction. It can change, obviously, as weeks go by. If they start looking great, I'll change the number. But right now, it's 6. That's what I thought before the season started. It's really hard to project things for an entire year without any data. But as you go, after about 3 games, you can make a much better projection. But nobody likes to hear that. Everybody wants to know what you had to say about them in July and August and not necessarily the middle of October, right? But that's why you miss so much. You never want to see preseason anything. They're always wrong. Lack of anyone separating themselves in the wide receiver room feels like an issue for Auburn. Hooks from JSU be number 1 in this league. Mike Yarborough, you guys got it all wrong. When you assess Hooks, he's not from JSU. So Shane Hooks did play at Jackson State last year, but the year before that, he was at Ohio. Okay, so before he was at Jackson State, he was at Ohio, the Bobcats, and he was just okay. And when I assess his tape, he looks like a MAC product. He doesn't look like an SEC dominating figure at wide receiver. I don't see it. When I turn on the tape, Jair Shorter sticks out to me, the North Texas transfer. He looks like an SEC caliber player. So I like Jair Shorter in that wide receiver room, not necessarily Shane Hooks. Now, Hooks can do what he wants, but at the end of the day, they don't have a great quarterback. They got great runners. Jaquez Hunter is real. Demario Austin is real. Brian Battie is real. They got 3 running backs I wouldn't want to mess with. Brian Battie is an 1,100-yard rusher, just transferred in from South Florida. That's the guy you got to look for. Screen passes, kickoff returns, punt returns. Brian Battie is the guy. The rest of them, I don't think they're home run threats. Jair Shorter, home run threat. That's what Auburn's got to do. Tell Rico congrats on his 100K. He works hard for the rest of us. This is very true. Thank you very much, Steve. Yeah, guys, I hit 100,000 followers on TikTok. Ain't shit to me, bruh. I knew this was coming. Some people just are in denial. Did it in less than a year. No pub, no Instagram, no asking and begging for gifts, no asking and begging on lives. I don't need your like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe button. Hit that. Shut up, bruh. The content will speak for itself. Pause. I can't be coughing on air. Please ask questions once unless you like the question deleted. Shout out to you, Steve. Brian Rice, B. Rice says it's not Brian, but it's just Bryce. B. Rice, 41, says, how do you think Utah's rush game stacks up against Florida's defense tonight? Yeah, Jaquindon Jackson is real. 6'2", 230 pounds, bruiser. He's never had more than 13 carries in a game, though. I want to make sure everybody understands this. He's never been a workhorse. They usually give him about 10 carries, but he's gone over 100 yards many times. Well, a few times. Remember, he's new to the running back game. But 13 carries has been his max. I'm curious to see if he finally gets 20 carries. Because if he gets 20 carries, it could be problematic for other people. But they've always kind of, tapered his workload. So we'll see what happens there. Rico, how about that 100K? Hey, are we talking about my bank account? We talking about my bank account? My pockets are deep. I'm talking about my followers. I got you. Rob Max retracted his message twice and then finally sent me gibberish. It says, thoughts on Jaquindon's score, Sean Tyler to score. Okay, so you're probably doing like a bet or something? First off, I'm not a gambler. Secondly, this looks like a bunch of parlays, like a bunch of guesses. So I only want to talk SEC, but I see there's things in here not SEC, but I got you. Jaquindon Jackson's going to score tonight, theoretically. Sean Tyler, running back at Minnesota, to score against Nebraska. Yeah, I mean, he's a back-to-back 1,000-yard rusher. I hope he scores. Sims, over under 37 rushing yards. I'm assuming he's going to have more than 37 rushing yards. Mertz, 180 passing yards. Not a chance in hell, man. Mertz can't throw. Mertz hasn't thrown over 180 passing yards but like 9 times in the last 2 years. And he started every game. I think Mertz had 180 passing yards not in the last month. Not from last season. No way. Go check the stats. Somebody Google this. Somebody Google this and let me know if Mertz threw for over 180 yards within the last 4 to 5 games last year. I don't think he threw more than 180. And he's never thrown like 300 yards. Like he gets up to 230 sometimes at best. But this is a 190 guy all day. Graham Mertz, no more than 10 times in the last 2 years. Not a chance. I wouldn't bet on that in a million years. Etienne, 45 rushing yards. That's going to happen. Autumn Bell, wide receiver at Minnesota, 23 receiving yards. That's random as hell. Look for a Cummings thing. Look for somebody else. Look for Crooms. What's a bet on Crooms? Sorry for the spam, but tried to pin marquee players for tonight. Try to pick marquee players for tonight. All right, Autumn Bell's not going to be a marquee guy. Not to me. I don't think so. Yeah, I would take Mertz out of that whole equation, bro. David in Arizona says, good afternoon, Rico. One more day until I can ask you questions. I'm coming. Hey, bro, pause that shit right now. You can't be saying that to me. It's we. We're coming. We're coming. It's a phrase. I'm coming. Come on, bro. We don't do that around here. Evan Kramer says, does Simpson start for Alabama? He's more of a pocket passer, game manager style quarterback, and it sounds like Alabama wants to go back to being a more run-dominant team. I don't see Milroe starting because of that. So I think Milroe is the starter. If not, it's Buchanan. I'm not even mentioning Simpson anymore. If he's the starter, that'd be news to me. Rico doesn't know. Could easily be any of the three. I just feel like Simpson makes the most sense. Well, let's talk about it. His dad's the coach at UT Martin. I think Simpson needs to go back to UT Martin. Go Big Red. Shout out to UEMT. I don't think that's tonight, though. Well, not the theme of the show. What games are you watching live tonight, Rico? I'm not going to watch any games with you guys. I'm going to have multiple screens going. I'll be making content as I go, but I got to focus on the games. I can't be hanging out with you guys. What's good, Rico? Hope everyone is having an amazing day. Shout out to Corey Flores. Speak up if you have mental health issues. Please, just recently lost someone. Just speak up. Yep, I talk about it all the time. What up, Rico? What up, Perk Season 40? Perfect audio. Damn, I said, I sound great. Everybody let me know I sound great. Yo, what's up, Rico? Wanted your opinion on the Missouri cornerback room. Lawhorn, I don't know the Missouri cornerback room all that well. I know the players. I want to tell you Dalen, but he's a safety, right? Dalen follows the channel. I think he's playing the star position, but Dalen Carnell follows the channel. He's cool peoples, so I really like him. Jalen Carls or something like that. He's not bad, but I think the corners are. I think one's a senior, but then another guy's a transfer. I'm forgetting his name. I wish I remembered, man. Off the top of my head, I don't remember. Sorry about that. Abrams Drain. Yeah, man. I don't know. They're okay. Raxaw. Dude, everything's going in my mind right now. Very specific question. I'm with you. But I know that they have two true freshmen in the two deep, so shout out to them. I looked at their film, actually, coming in, and they have two freshmen that are going to contribute, so I'm excited to see if they see the field. But I really know the safety's better than the corners. I apologize. I owe you a bona fide answer on that, okay? My bad. On Deck Gaming, what up, bro? Thoughts on C.J. Taylor, Vanderbilt's finest. Hey, man, do your thing. Shout out to C.J. Taylor. He's a junior, I believe, right? 6'1", 200 pounds or so. Do your thing. I want people to – I think he was all second team or third team, all conference. I want them to play their best. We'll see what happens. Hawaii was still scoring on people, but it wasn't his fault. So, shout out to you. Rico, thoughts on A&M's wide receiver room? Does Jedi Walker crack the rotation for playing time? You know, Trent, Jedi Walker, if you guys don't know, he's a transfer from Division II, Grand Valley State. Jedi Walker transferring into Texas A&M. Their wide receiver room's actually not as deep as everybody thinks. Right? They got Stewart, they got Smith, Aeneas Smith, but Tyron Smith transferred back to UTEP, and he was going to be their slot receiver, and they needed somebody, and they just needed more bodies. I think Walker can get in that rotation, but he got there a little late because he signed in the spring as opposed to the winter, so he didn't do spring ball with them. So he's only had a couple of months to kind of get acclimated to the SEC speed versus Grand Valley State. But I think he's got time. He didn't go there to become an immediate starter. I think he transferred there to work on his pro pedigree and eventually become a contributor in another year or two. So don't get bummed out if he's not on the field right away. Okay, go Utes. Okay. Yo, shout out to you for that Colorado O-line info. Thank you very much, Square Business. It's what I do. I am the plug. Shout out to Lawrence Collins. Andrew Lawley says, what is your ceiling for South Carolina this year? Could you see them getting a 9-10 win season? Well, let's go look because I can't just yell that off the top of my head. So South Carolina's down here. So we're going to know a lot about South Carolina after week 1. If they beat Carolina handedly, If they beat them handedly, then we know they're a good team. They're obviously going to beat Furman, but look at that game at Georgia. It just does not look good for the home team at that point. All their tough games are on the road. At Georgia, at Tennessee, at A&M. Like, these are easy to me. I think they're going to beat Florida and Missouri. I think they're going to beat Missouri State and Furman. They got to beat North Carolina. But if they beat North Carolina, they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 gimmies right off the bat. If they beat North Carolina, they're winning 8 games. But then there's those games that are just hard. I think Kentucky's a mismatch nightmare for them. I think beating Clemson 2 years in a row is difficult, especially, I just feel like Clemson's pissed about it. So let's go. But the rest of the games seem manageable. Going to Tennessee, going to Georgia does not seem good. Back-to-back weeks against Missouri and A&M. Missouri's a trap game at that point. A&M, they're going to be looking forward to them. I still think they can win 8 or 9 games if they beat North Carolina. Shout out to South Carolina. They should have a good season. I like Shane Beamer a lot, by the way. Hey, Rico, I asked you about this on TikTok, but I was talking about being 25 and considering the military. What branch would you recommend me reaching out to first, and any advice for the process? So the process is be in the best shape of your life, do a lot of push-ups and run. Go run every single day. Run 5 miles every day for 5 days a week. Just start doing that right now. And I don't care how long it takes you. I don't care if you walk and you can't really run a mile, if you walk and run and you struggle, just keep doing it. And you'll eventually get better at it. But try to run at a pace that you can hold for 5 miles without walking. Remember what I just said. Try to hold a pace that you can hold for 5 miles without walking. Do not try to run to a certain time. Just run and say, oh, I'm comfortable with this. Let me see if I can hold this for 5 miles. And if you can't, then slow it down next time and try to make it further. But that's what I would recommend, getting your run on and start doing push-ups. Now, mentally being 25 years old, that's great. Join the military, man. It'll give you a better life. But what branch should you join? If I was 25 years old, I'm joining the Army or the Air Force, and that's it. I'm not doing anyone else. Because I feel like the Marines don't have quite the same opportunities once you get out. Your job getting offered jobs here and there is not quite the same as the Army or the Air Force. They just have a lot more networking capabilities. But you want to get a job that allows you to have a top secret security clearance. Go for it. Walk in there, tell your recruiter, and he'll know exactly what you're saying. I want a TSSCI, top secret, single compartmented information security clearance. TSSCI. That's what you want, bro. So go in there and say, I want any job that requires a TSSCI. Done. That will ensure you get 6-figure jobs after you get out. And that'll change your whole life, and you'll be wealthy forever. Bascott Brooks says, Chris Jones should learn negotiations from Hawkinson's camps. Facts. Gavin Grip says, I know it's not sports related. Sorry. Don't worry about it, man. I'll help you. Square business. And congrats on the 100K. Sincerely proud of you, brother. Thank you very much, Bass. Ivan says, hey, Rico, just wanted to say I haven't really been into college football through my life, but very much enjoy your content, and it's really gotten me into it way more. Keep doing your thing, man. Hey, we want to inspire everybody, right? You didn't know me from anybody, and that's what we care about, though. Thank you very much. Awesome Aramis says, I remember that. I don't know what you remember, but I'm glad you do. Is Cam Rising going to play tonight? Craig Bubber, they said he's doubtful. That means 97% of the time doubtful players do not play. So I don't think he's playing. Craig, no, he's not. There we go. Eric says, I thought today was Big 12 Thursday. Big 12 is Wednesday. We did the show yesterday. You can go back and watch it. It's posted on the YouTube. Hit the live tab. There it is. You'll see it. Paul Keenan says, roll tide roll. I understand to worry at quarterback for Bama, but I really don't think it will make them lose 3 to 5 games. I think you'll see the defense come back to form. Just need the offense to catch up. Yep. If the offense doesn't catch up, your defense will be extremely tired. If the offense is a lot of 3 and outs, I don't care what kind of form you think you have, you're not going to be there. You're going to be tired and done. Now, the reason Alabama was so dominant for so many years is their offense was very run-oriented, and it kept the defense fresh. They were getting first downs that led to touchdowns, but it wasn't these quick strikes. It was just grinding on you. Slow and steady wins this race, and they broke you off something fierce. Okay? But all those years, they didn't utilize Julio Jones or Amari Cooper. They weren't throwing the rock to these guys like you think, and then they finally got offensive coordinators that knew how to use receivers. And you saw the receivers come in. Once you get real coordinators, you start getting real receivers. Well, now they don't have those great coordinators anymore. Lane Kiffin and Sarkisian are actually head coaches in other places. So now you don't have quite the acumen at offensive coordinator, and you don't get quite the receivers anymore. They're not nearly as good as they used to be. That's a problem. Running backs, nobody's afraid of them. They just stack the box because they can single cover these receivers, and that's what's hurting Alabama. Now, are they going to win games? They're going to win games. They're dominant. They got good players. We'll see what happens. They're not worried about this first week, though. Owen says, thoughts on Anthony Richardson being named a team captain? It's laughable. You want to make the whole team. It's all going to be about Anthony Richardson. Was he a team captain at Florida? That's what I want to know. When's the last time Anthony Richardson was a team captain? That's what I want. That's a joke. I'm making a video on this. Don't be mad. Sorry, I got to write it down, y'all. Got to write it down. That's crazy talk. What's your opinion on Evan Hill, running back from Northwestern? Do you mean Evan Hall? The running back at Northwestern last year, 5th-round draft pick, Evan Hall? I'm not a big fan of Evan Hall. I thought he was always slow. Never really impressed me. He was a Illinois or Minnesota kid coming out of high school, and he played okay. Was he Indiana? Indiana, Illinois, Minnesota, somewhere around that area. He was okay. Receiver, he caught a lot of passes, but terrible at the combine, and I hear he's backing up or he's going to be getting reps for the Colts. Okay, congrats. Shout out to the player Rico called out for being lazy in the bowl game, number 33, Florida. There you go. I had the receipts ready. Oh, that's what you guys are saying. You remember that. There you go. Awesome Aramis is saying it. Seth is saying it. Yes. Now we're good. Paul Keenan says, big ups to Jordan Thomas from Don Bosco, my alma mater, committed to Georgia, New Jersey football. All right, let me know when he changes his mind. Davion Colston says, not a question, but Florida wins tonight if Mertz throws least than 20 passes. That's correct. That's the recipe for winning for Graham Mertz. In his entire career, Graham Mertz will win you games when he's not throwing the ball, when you put the ball in somebody else's hands. Southeastern, thank you very much. Sometimes I get everything mixed up, y'all. Thoughts on Matt Corral being claimed by the Patriots? I already talked about it. I'm excited for him. Nixon not starting at will, but will more than likely be getting snaps than the starter. Cam Riley listed as the starter, but his season last year was underwhelming. Yeah, Yarborough, I feel the same way. I think Larry Nixon needs to get on the field. He's really good on tape. I watched him on tape. He's a good football player. I don't know if he practices well. I don't care who looks better. What all that. Put him in the game. That guy's getting to the ball. Kamari Ross says, how do you think Kool-Aid will perform this season for his last year? Well, he's one of the best punt returners in the country, and I think he's a good corner. So I hope he performs well. They're relying on him. I hope he does well. Is Jordan Watkins a top wide receiver in the SEC? No. I'm not. I mean, that's just the answer. No, he's not. Sean, can you talk about what went wrong with Clavion Chesane? Jags just declined fifth-year option. Why did they pick him if he had minimal college production? Well, the same reason everybody else makes terrible decisions with draft picks. Their scouting department sucks. They don't know what they're looking for. And when you go to your scouting department, you have a couple of methods what you're trying to do as an NFL scout. And what I think people do wrong as NFL scouts is they try to identify the best players in every draft class. Yeah, they get it wrong. Trying to identify the best players in every draft class does not matter. What you need to identify is who are the players better than the players on our team. Yeah, stop trying to guess where lightning's going to strike and just tell me if it's going to rain or not. Like, just let me know who's better than the guys on our team. So when we're putting our draft board together, I don't want to draft all the quote-unquote best players in the draft. I want to know which guys are better than the dudes we got on our team. If you draft that way, then all these guys make the team and they don't get cut. All you got to do is go, hey, look, all these corners right here, at about this guy right here, nobody else can make our team. So we take the rest of them off the board. But instead, they don't try to find guys that are better than the players on their team. They try to find the best player in the world. And they're basing it on potential or supposed skills and traits. Right? They don't even know what they're doing. Think about this for a second. In the 90s, they used to draft quarterbacks, and they used to use this term. They said, oh, he has intangibles. It's not something, you know what tangible means? Tangible means you can touch it. You can feel it. It's real. Then they used to say, oh, we're drafting him because the intangibles, the it factor. You don't even hear that in the draft process anymore. It's not even in the mock drafts anymore. It's not on TV anymore. Because that was code for what? He's smarter than the other guy. He has more potential, skills, and traits and abilities. Now that's what we hear. Pro traits and abilities. I can give you all the new terms these guys use. Off-platform throws. It's ridiculous, the verbiage. And the kids, they're so young, they don't even understand the history of draft analysis and scouting. So they don't even know when they're being tricked into thinking somebody's going to be good. But I think I'm in that sweet spot of understanding what it used to be and what it needs to be. And what it needs to be is when we're in our room, in our draft room, in our war room, we're not trying to draft the best player available. We're trying to find guys better than the dudes on our roster. And if you need a prime example of that, the Packers did that. Remember, the Packers took a tight end in the second round. They took Musgrave from Oregon State. But when it came time for them to take another draft pick, they took Tucker Kraft, another tight end from South Dakota State, the Jackrabbits. Like, how the hell did they take that other tight end? Well, because they said, whoa, this guy's even better than everybody. There's two guys on this damn board better than everybody we got in our roster. And they both made it. When you go look at the Dolphins draft, the Dolphins only had 4 picks. They picked in the second, third round, and then they didn't pick again until the 6th and 7th round. And they had to cut their 6th and 7th rounder. They didn't make the team. They cut them. And everybody goes, Rico, what's the big deal? 6th and 7th rounders get cut all the time. Yeah, they do. But you had 4 draft picks. You had 4 chances to make our team better. 4. And you missed on the last 2 guys. How many people work for the Miami Dolphins scouting department? How many scouts? How many people? How many personnel people? How many? Got to be a dozen. Got to be a dozen at least. And you missed on half your picks? You couldn't find 4 dudes to improve the team? You're not that good. While the Cowboys are finding a 6th-round running back, my dog is pissed. She's barking. She's growling. Sweetie, relax. I'm not mad. It's okay. Shout out to the Dolphins. I'm pissed at these NFL teams for not hiring me. I would fix their entire organization. They're not hiring me. TikTok's paying me instead. But I'm still eating, bro. Anyways, that's what's wrong with the Jags. The Jags had 13 draft picks. They cut 3 of them. You're bound to miss on some. But they took some injury-prone dudes. They did some other shit. I don't know. Perk Season says, it's in Orlando, so it's not their home turf. Hey, there we go. Nobody's doing home turf shit. FSU game is in Orlando. Exactly. They refuse to play. They refuse to play at somebody's home stadium. We got to meet at a neutral site. Is it the Camping World Stadium in Orlando? The Disney one? Thoughts on Van Dyke? My buddy thinks he's top 10 quarterback. Okay, so Van Dyke, quarterback at Miami. I talk ACC football on Mondays, not Thursdays. Today is SEC only. Sorry for that. If you have a question about Van Dyke, come back on Monday. We'll see you there. But thanks for being here. I do appreciate you. What's the game plan for Utah tonight? The game plan, move the chains and stop the run. It's going to be a very heavy box on both sides of the ball. That's the game plan. Stop the run and enable yourself to run. What up, Rico? What up, yo, Mama-san? Brady says, Utah money line, Nebraska plus 7.5. Thoughts? So I don't really know gambling, so I don't even know what that means. I can just tell you that Nebraska looks really good. And if they're going into Minnesota and losing, Matt Rule always starts slow. He was terrible at Temple his first year. I think he won 2 games. Baylor, first year, won 2 games. He does turn it around and flip it, but it takes a while to get his whole culture in here. But he didn't inherit a shitbag team. Like, he inherited a team that won some games last year. Nebraska was not bad. I think they beat Iowa towards the end of the year. So that's how I feel about the games tonight. I want to talk SEC only, but I will tell you that I feel like Nebraska's got a shot to be in the game. Shout out to Jeff Sims. 2 years ago, Jeff Sims led Georgia Tech in rushing. His running back was Jahmyr Gibbs. He didn't have more rushing yards than Jeff Sims. Jeff Sims is him. Jeff Sims is everything Anthony Richardson wishes he was. Just letting you know. I'm going to the TCU-Colorado game this weekend. All right, what up, Aaron? Can't wait to see how Colorado looks. There you go. Do you think Ohio State has a real problem at the quarterback position, let alone the DB position? You can talk to me on Tuesdays. I talk Big Ten on Tuesdays. Thank you for being here. Nathan Vass says, what do you think of Carson Beck's stats will be in this game? Who are they playing in this game? I'm sorry. I forgot. Let me go back. They have an easy game, right? Carson Beck's going to get a ton of stats. Carson Beck has Brock Bowers, bro. Brock Bowers and Ladd, these guys are getting you all kinds of yak. UT Martin coming into town. Carson Beck, 300 yards. What do you want me to say? He's going to play a half, though. He's not playing the second half. So do what you want with that. How do you watch multiple games at once? Swerve, I have many windows. I have 2 monitors and a TV. I could probably watch about 4 games at once. I don't have to, though. So they're going to be on ESPN Plus. If you look at the games over here, they're listed. You see here, ESPN Plus, meaning I can watch the replay. So I kind of strategize myself. I don't watch all the games at once. I will watch them tomorrow morning. I have every morning to watch the games and catch up. I watch games 7 days a week. I make sure I watch every FBS level game. I attack it by conference, just the way you heard me. So I'll watch the replay. So tomorrow I'll probably watch the replay of any Pac-12 games and then anything that I get time for if I miss any games. Obviously, I'm not going to miss the Utah-Florida game, but if I was, that's how I do it. And I catch up throughout the week that way. My Sundays, I watch Group of 5 games all day long. Usually watch them on YouTube or ESPN Plus. You can set the playback speed to about 1.25 and not miss anything. Skip all commercials and timeouts and halftime, and you can get a game done in about 50 minutes, 45 minutes. You can do 2 at a time. I'm just watching for stats, tendencies, injuries, funny plays to show you guys. That's what I do every football season. So it's about 65 games a week. You can do 10 a day, easy, no problem, in about 4 hours. I'm used to this. It's what I do, bro. Matt Corral to the Pats. Thoughts? Already talked about it. Rewind the show. Do you see Tennessee getting to 10 wins this season? Let's see Tennessee. Tennessee at Virginia, they're going to win. Austin Peay, they're going to win. At Florida, I think they win. That game against UTSA is a straight trap game because they want to beat South Carolina so bad. I think that's a trap game. It scares me, though, okay? But I do think Tennessee does not match up well with these 2 teams here, but we'll see what happens. Tennessee could lose 3 games. They can lose 3 games. All depends. But I think they have a high-scoring offense. I really like Josh Heupel and what they do, but I think they can lose 3 games. So give me, what is that, 9-3? 9-3 Tennessee. It's pretty much where I see them at. It's tough, man, when you play Alabama and Georgia. Shout out to actually playing teams in your conference. Could you imagine if they had another conference game? Whew, they might lose 4 games. But they don't do that in the SEC. Just how it goes. Yo, Top, what up, Edgar Vasquez? Rico, I watch your stuff, and then 2 days later, I see other creators saying the same stuff as you say. Yeah, Edgar, it's only a matter of time, bro. Everybody's copying the takes. Everybody's doing what I say. I ain't mad at them. I'm getting paid. Let them do what they do. They're all fake as fuck, though. They can't step to me. That's real. Shiloh the God says, Colorado about to destroy TCU. Florida will lose. I hope so. Willie Bobo. Rico Knows signs at game day events. Let's go. Hey, wherever game day is, if we can get the fans out there, we want to see a sign that says hashtag Rico Knows. That's all we need the sign to say. Hashtag Rico Knows. And if you can prove it was you at game day, bro, I'll send you $100 worth of merch right off the rip. Rico Knows. Get it on game day. Let the world know. Shiloh the God says LSU will beat Florida State. Here we go. Your mama says, what a Sparty at quarterback. LOL, no. With the Sparty at quarterback, he's talking about Auburn. Okay. Thoughts on Colorado being a 20-point dog to TCU? Unfortunately, I'm talking Pac-12 tomorrow, not today. Today's SEC only. TCU won't win. Got it. TCU will win. They won't win. Let's go. Rico knows. What's up? How does UTSA stack up against Houston? So, unfortunately, I won't be able to talk about UTSA stacking up against Houston until Sunday, and the game will already be over. But, Sam, I did talk Big 12 yesterday. So go to yesterday's live stream and watch the Big 12. I talked about the game then. So I actually answered that question yesterday. I lived in Georgia for 7 years. How is the Central Gwinnett High School Black Knights doing in football? Have they been good? So they're good this year. They're good. They say they're good. That's what the rankings say. That's what the scores say. I think they won one of their games just the other day. They don't really stick out to me, though, Flyboy. Roscoe Down says, will Alton McCaskill start week 1 against TCU? They tell me he will. I can ask him. He's in the DMs. He does follow the channel. I can ask him. I can reach out, but I don't want to do that. I want these men to focus on their season. They don't answer to me, so I try not to bug them unless they reach out to me. But I got a lot of Colorado Buffaloes that follow the channel. Reach out to me via DMs. Shout out to Washington, obviously McCaskill, Caleb Mathis, Jacobs. There's so many people. It's nuts. TCU is now the greatest team to ever play the game. What a joke. Soon reality check. Excuses will start rolling in. Yeah, I mean, the last time you saw TCU, how good were they? How good were they? Didn't they look worse than Kent State? Didn't they look worse than any team on Georgia's roster, Georgia's schedule? Last time I saw TCU, they were worse than any team that Georgia played against. So if they looked that bad last time I saw them and they lost 8 professional players, tell me why you guys think TCU's winning that many games. That's a whole nother day for another discussion. Talked about it at length yesterday. Does TCU have a deep DB room? Talked about that. We talk Big 12 on Wednesdays, y'all. Who's your top 5 offensive linemen in college? Off the top of my head, I don't have an answer right now. Obviously, Joe Alt's on there. Latham's on there just because he's big. But I like the kid at UCLA just transferred in, Spencer Holstedge. It's probably my number 1 offensive lineman, Spencer Holstedge. Yeah, he's my number 1. I don't care what NFL drafts experts say. I don't care about none of that. When I turn on the tape, Spencer Holstedge is the guy. And he's at UCLA, just transferred from Purdue to UCLA. So that's my number 1. I could probably do Drake Nugent, number 2, the starting center at Michigan, just transferred from Stanford. Walter Rouse being at Oklahoma. He's a transfer from Stanford as well. Those 3 guys come to mind immediately. So do what you want with that. Roscoe Downs, word has it, Coach Flair says Hankerson will be the starter week 1. There you go. Said it's some coach's show according to people who know. Okay, who were there. Running back strength. Strength of the team for AU, as you mentioned. But will the revamped offensive line be good enough, at least better than what Tank dealt with? Also, Rivaldo Fairweather legit. So, it's a good Auburn question. He's asking if Auburn's offensive line it's revamped. It's got 3 starters on it from the transfer portal. I think it's going to have 4 starters from the transfer portal, 2 of which came from Tulsa. Remember, Auburn has a new offensive coordinator in Philip Montgomery. Came to work for Hugh Freeze. Philip Montgomery, the former head coach at Tulsa, came over and he brought his guys with him. So he brought Dylan Wade. He brought Jaden Muskrat, both very good linemen from Tulsa, to Auburn to start. They have a couple more guys. I like their offensive line. I think that's one of their stronger suits. I like Auburn's offense, period. Rivaldo Fairweather, the tight end coming over from FIU, good player. Can't complain. So offensively, Auburn's on point. I like what they're doing. It's defensively where they're going to struggle. The depth on the defensive line, losing Emba, he just transferred, the number 1 JUCO defensive tackle, just transferred from Auburn to Purdue after never playing, and they just have a lot of depth issues. They lost another defensive lineman to Iowa State. Just doesn't look good for the home team there. But, hey, Auburn can shock a lot of people. I think they have enough talent to win games, and Hunter's the truth. Trey Stevens says, what's good, Rico? What are your thoughts on A&M's quarterback room? Does Sam McCall make this group elite? Sam McCall doesn't play. If he plays, that's surprising to me. Sam McCall is not the part of that group that makes him elite. A&M, Tony Grimes coming in from North Carolina, and more importantly, the kid from Boston College, all-conference. What the hell's his name? I can't believe I just drew a blank right now. I know him, and I'll know his name once I see it. I apologize. Sometimes that's how it triggers for me. When I see it, I'll let you know. Come on, Rico. It's somewhere down here on the bottom of my list. I'm just looking. Oh, come on. What the hell's wrong with me? Josh DeBerry. Josh DeBerry, ACC All-Conference. Josh DeBerry right here. I don't even have names written next to these guys. I just know who they are. Unfortunately, I forgot Josh DeBerry for a split second. So Boston College transfer, All-Conference from ACC. I think he's the star. I think he's the guy. He's known goods. So A&M, I don't think they have an elite DB room. They're just good. Good enough, right? Better than Denver Harris and Smoke Bowie and some of those other guys that had to lead the program. So they're fine. But Sam McCall, to me, doesn't come across as an impact player at all. Not even a little bit. Sorry about that. Rico, my G. What up, Black Money? Good to see you, brother. If there's one game to bet on where I'm 100% going to win, what team to bet on? Well, I'm not a gambler, and I don't give financial advice. I mean, you're going to win on a lot of these games on purpose. I don't know what the spread is for some of these games off the top of my head. So I don't know what game to bet on. But I'm telling you, Colorado's not losing by 20-something points to TCU. Like, that's what I'm telling you guys. I'm serious. They're going to score points and a lot of it. Like, you just saw San Jose State put up points on USC. Do you think for a second TCU's defense is better than USC? It's not. And Colorado's got better players than San Jose State. Like, I wish people understood what's going down right now. It's going to be ugly, bro. It's going to be ugly for all the haters. They're going to be on notice. What are your thoughts on Wyatt Gilmore out of Minnesota? I got nothing for you, Cam Jam. I don't have any thoughts there. I hope you admit you're wrong when Bama wins more than 5 games. Tony Thompson, what are you talking about? I predicted Bama goes 7-5. They're going to win more than 5 games. How am I wrong if they win more than 5 games? That's what I said. You're very good at forecasting sports. You should be rated at the top on YouTube. Why do you only have about 4,600 subscribers on YouTube? D-Till, I'm new to YouTube. I just started YouTube a couple months ago, right before the summer. So I'm very new to YouTube. I've not been doing this long. I never posted my stuff on YouTube, never tried. So I think I'm better than anyone in the world. Thank you for co-signing. Thank you for thinking I'm real. I'm not just trying to forecast sports. I'm evaluating players. I'm telling you guys what I know. People ask me questions. I just view things analytically different from everyone else. And I have the gift. I can articulate it in a coherent statement that anyone can understand. I'm not boring. I'm not monotone. I'm not crazy. But I just might be a little forward thinking. And I'm way ahead of the curve on a lot of this shit. But when you start late on YouTube, you start late. I'm still in the process of retiring from the military, so I haven't even dedicated myself 100% into this. I'm still dealing with some other stuff. But once I'm free, I'm 100% a content creator. This is what I do for a living. So let's get it popping. Let's do what we do. Parker Raycraft says, Blake Moans, bet on UGA versus UT Martin and take a $5 win. There you go. Jaden Greathouse is the man. Shout out to him. Thoughts on Ashford? Robbie Ashford, quarterback at Auburn. Got a lot of Auburn questions out here. I just don't think he's him. I think he's very inaccurate. Very athletic kid, but he's inaccurate. North Texas season predictions, please, and thank you. Come back Sunday. I'm talking group of 5 teams on Sunday. Almost forgot about Chase Bistonis, backup left tackle at A&M. You'll catch me talking about Jersey football some way, somehow. Very proud. There you go, Paul Keenan. Shout out to you. Rep your city, bruh. What is that? What am I? 702? 702? Is that the zip code? 702? Jace McClellan, 1,100 yards this season. Whoo. Might piss my dog off. I'm an owl. Shout out to you. Rico, what is your take on Cam Ward at Washington State? I'll tell you tomorrow when I do Pac-12. Never sell out. Never will. Earl says, Rico, do you think Colorado will make a bowl this year? A bowl game this year? Ask me tomorrow. That's when I talk Pac-12. Oh, never. It's SEC today. My bad. I heard you call that. Thank you very much. I know you're not a bettor, but Virginia is getting 28 points against Tennessee on Saturday. You think they can cover that? No, I don't. I think Tennessee's offense is very explosive, high-flying, and they're going to put up a ton of points. I don't think Virginia's built for it. Virginia just lost their leading tackler, Nick Jackson, to the transfer portal. He just left to Iowa. Virginia does not seem poised to make a difference to me. They just lost their best defensive back, right? What was his name? The kid who just transferred to Florida State. Cypress, right? One of the best Fentrell Cypress. Yeah, it's not happening, bro. I'm taking Tennessee on that. You think UConn can keep it close tonight, returning hella starters from last year? They're returning hella starters except for their 2 best wide receivers and their best running back. I don't understand why I say best running back, Nathan Carter, but not really, but you know what I mean. But still, UConn, I just don't know how they keep it close. I don't know what close is to you. But shout out to them. I really like their team. I like their coach. Never mind. What do you think about the whole Tyler Brown situation? I already talked about it. I talked about it yesterday. I don't want to get into it again, but I'll just give it to you guys straight. I think his justification for trying to get a waiver for immediate approval is bullshit, and I'm okay with it. The NCAA should not approve him requesting a waiver because he's dealing with personal issues or mental health issues or any of that shit. None of that happened at Jackson State. There was no reason to leave Jackson State. If it happened at a previous school, yeah, I hear you. You left. You got bad memories, whatever. But you don't. That's not a justification for leaving Jackson State. It's all bullshit. Let's go Texas A&M Aggies. Okay. Hey, Rico, what up, John Chen? Ryan Ray says, do you think Lane will eventually leave Ole Miss? If so, could Golding replace him? So I don't know who's going to replace him. Can he leave Ole Miss? Of course he can. But I think that Lane would leave Ole Miss for the Bama job once Nick Saban retires. How about that? Keon Coleman going to ball out against LSU. I like Keon Coleman. I hope he does well. Forget the SEC. Nah. Rico, I'm going to take you up on that offer. Okay, Ryan. I don't know what offer Royal. I don't know what I did there. Does Willie Bobo know Willie Bobo, the famous drummer? I don't know who that is. Thoughts on Corral to the Pats? Colin Stewart, Corral to the Pats. I already talked about it earlier in the show. Rewind the show. Go watch it. Evan Kramer, should have made the channel last year. I could have had the game day sign at the App State Troy game. There you go. Rico, who's the best quarterback in the SEC? Right off the top, KJ Jefferson for me. I just think he's a game changer. I think he's amazing. So right now, KJ Jefferson for me is the best quarterback in the SEC. Jaden Daniels is right there, though. Royal Wolford, don't go streaking naked on a live TV for attention. Oh, that's what you guys want to do. Put the sign up. Let's go. What are your thoughts on Auburn, Tropical King? My thoughts are, I already shared them with everybody. If you want to know what I think they're going to do, go to the top 25 coaches playlist. I don't understand why you guys don't see the playlist. I actually have a different account, but when you go to TikTok and you go above the videos on my homepage, you should see a bunch of rectangles and a bunch of playlists. Cycle through them. Find the right one. Find top 25 new head coaches, and you will find what I had to say about Auburn and what I think about them. What games are you going to this year? None. I try not to go to any of them. I don't want to miss any games, so I'd rather watch them all on TV. That's how that goes. Will Campbell. I don't have anything to say about Will Campbell. You see in South Bend, USC versus Notre Dame. That's not for today. This is SEC only. Rico, you going to any SEC games in person this year? Matthew Daniels, I try to go to no games. Because driving to a game, watching the game, being in the stadium, I'm missing like 10 games while that happens. I'm not doing that. I don't miss games. If it's a Thursday or Friday and it's the only game showing, that's a possibility if it's in my area near me. But other than that, I don't like to miss games. What do you think about Alabama's receiver room? Very underwhelming, Zach Anderson. I'm disappointed. 6 guys hit the portal. Trayshawn Holden, JoJo Earl, Christian Leary, Anderson, and I'm trying to think of who else. But the point is I was very underwhelmed with how they were producing on the field. You have a Heisman Trophy quarterback. What's wrong with Isaiah Bond? Why isn't he effective? Was he just fast at Buford and he didn't really do shit? Like, there's guys in the Bama receiving room that are just underwhelming. Now, you get a JUCO wide receiver, Malik Benson. I went and watched the tape. Looks good, but who's he doing it against? Who's he doing it against? So they tell me he's at practice killing everybody. All right, now find a quarterback that can get him the ball. So I don't think Alabama's receiver room is the issue at all. I think they need another 5-star quarterback to carry this team. Thoughts on Matt Corral to the Pats? Already talked about it. Rewind the show. Thoughts on Angura, Georgia safety? Doesn't stick out to me at all. Obviously, Malachi Starks does when I look at Georgia, but I don't get too excited about some of these other guys. I really don't. I'm just being real. I know you're just talking SEC football, but I was just wondering if you have a prediction for Gagne versus Spivak fight this weekend. I don't give any UFC predictions on fights for a couple of reasons. Number one, I'm at a 90% hit rate of being accurate, so people take my picks and go make money off them. You're not making money off me. I apologize. I know you probably want to have a genuine conversation about it, but I'm not going to give a pick on UFC fights out in the open days in prior because I don't miss, and then everybody starts making money, and I ain't no horse. You ain't riding me, bro. But I appreciate the question. Ryan Wolfork, we will be looking forward to it. There you go. Travis Hunter, not in the top 50. Gary Gladden, what are you talking about? Travis Hunter was my number 2. The video's already made, guys. Travis Hunter's right there. He's my number 2. Boom, boom. Just behind Nick Jackson. Probably should have been closer to like 4 or 5 just because he doesn't have the production of some of these other guys. Like Nick Jackson's had 100 tackles 3 seasons in a row, right? He's actually doing the job that we anticipate Travis Hunter can do. It's just a little different when you start looking at people who actually do it. You guys can talk about 4- and 5-star recruits, and then there's guys who are like all-conference DB or all-conference 2 years in a row. Like that's somebody who's actually done it on Saturdays and played, and you're still gassing up a dude who played in high school. I'm not saying they're not great. I'm just saying, how do I compare the two? So I still put Travis Hunter number 2, but he probably should have been 4 or 5. It was clickbait. Ray Kraft, Cash Jones have an impact for UGA this year. I think he plays. Here's the thing. When I look at any individual player at Georgia, I don't think any of them impact Georgia's win total. Like, Georgia's going to still win 11 games without these guys, without any individual player, with the exception of Brock Bowers, right? I feel like Georgia's going to win a game no matter what. So when you say impact, if you're not impacting the win total, then I don't know who you are. Then I don't know what you mean by impact. You got to impact the win total. Nobody's individually doing that at Georgia. By the way, really like your stuff. Thank you very much, Gary. Who is your Sun Belt champion this season? South Alabama, Troy, or Marshall? Am I allowed to give you like 3 teams? I really like South Alabama, Troy, and Marshall in that order, just so you know. And we joined the Rico Knows Pick'ems. Let's get it. Hey, make 5 entries. Thank you. I got some money on Vandy winning more than 3.5 games. You think this will hit? Well, they didn't look good against Hawaii. I know everybody was talking about it. You guys, look, you guys all watch Josh Pate or whatever those people are. You guys watch other content creators, other people talking. And then you guys come to me and go, Rico, is this good? Is this good? Is this good? Just stop watching other people talking. If you don't believe what they're saying and you want to come to me and ask me, Rico, is it true that so-and-so is the best run? No, dude, don't do this. Stop watching that shit if you don't believe it. Why do you watch something you don't believe and then come to me for the right answer? Feel me? So every time you guys come to me and try to confirm whether or not it's true or not, I don't even like to answer it because it's like, oh, if you're watching somebody else and you believe them. That's on you, bruh. That's on you. But you're probably clenching your damn butt cheeks watching them against Hawaii. Florida's defense too good for the Utes tonight. Hey, that's what they're hoping. What's your pick for the game to watch tonight? Go Navy, by the way. Okay, Bean Banks, don't ever say that again. Game to watch tonight is obviously Florida and hold on, though. Obviously Florida and Utah, but I know I'm currently looking at SEC games right here, but let's go to FBS 1A. We're in week 1. Thursday games. Right now, if you want to watch an interesting game, like I can tell you guys, when I'm looking at these games, I think Kent State's getting blown out. I think all these are blowouts. Interested to see what NC State's offense looks like, but that's it. I don't really care about the UConn-NC State game. Nebraska, Minnesota can be really fun. Shout out to Nebraska. It can be fun. We'll see what happens there. Games start in about 45 minutes, by the way. But there's this game that's sneaky good right here. North Carolina A&T at UAB. North Carolina A&T has 2 running backs. And one of them, Jalen Hicks, is the greatest 0-star running back I saw on tape last year. I have a whole Hidden Gems video about him. I'm going to do a whole I Am Right video when he gets drafted into the NFL. His father went to North Carolina A&T and ran track. That's the only reason he went there. He could go anywhere. He's 0 stars. North Carolina A&T is going to be so fun. I want to see what he can do. By the way, UAB has a 1,000-yard rusher none of you know about. Okay, Jermaine Brown Jr. is the guy, and no one talks about him. You go to UAB, I know I'm talking group of 5 right now, but bear with me. You go to stats from last year, everybody knows Dwayne McBride was the leading rusher and second leading rusher in the country. Everybody knows Dwayne McBride is the guy. 1,700 yards rushing, 7 yards a carry. Just got cut and re-signed to the practice squad by the Vikings. Dwayne McBride was everything. So I go turn on the tape. Guys, and the backup running back comes in the game. I don't see a drop-off in production at all. Jermaine Brown Jr., 948 yards rushing as a backup. That's that shit you guys are talking about at Penn State and Michigan having a 1-2 punch. What about this 1-2 punch? 1,700 yards and 900 yards? Nobody talks about him. He's about to be a problem. I watched the tape. Jermaine Brown Jr. I'm putting all you guys on notice tonight. Another thing, he can actually catch passes. 19 receptions, 120 yards, but 19 receptions compared to Dwayne McBride's just 2. This is a 3-down back. Every down back, Jermaine Brown Jr. is him. Get ready for tonight. UAB, that's a game I care about. It's at the same time as the 8 o'clock game like everybody else, so nobody's going to watch it. But it's on ESPN+, so I'm going to watch the replay. Trent Dilfer's the head coach. I'm telling you right now, Jermaine Brown Jr. is the one to watch. That game's going to have the best running backs tonight. That game's got better running backs than a lot of these other teams. I'm telling you, Jalen Hicks is a true freshman. It's a problem. Can't wait till he rushes for over 1,000 yards this year. And Kenji Christian is the other running back. If you don't know, Kenji Christian played his high school ball in Alabama, was a state champ. I think he played at Spanish Fort or somewhere near there. And he went to Virginia Tech, lost his starting job to Baishal Tutton. Baishal Tutton is a 1,400-yard rusher in the FCS. He transfers to Virginia Tech. So Baishal Tutton is an FCS All-American, transfers into Virginia Tech, and then takes the job. The guy who he beat out is Kenji Christian. He then transfers to his old school, and he goes to North Carolina A&T. That's the coolest story out there, bro. North Carolina A&T and Virginia Tech just swapped running backs. Whew. And their leading rusher, Virginia Tech's leading rusher, he transferred to Western Michigan. He'll be the starting running back at Western Michigan. You'll see him tonight. I could do this all day, bro. We can connect the dots all day. I'll be here all year. And we join. There we go. Catching back up. Rico, what impact do you think Lawrence Johnson at defensive tackle that just transferred to Auburn from Purdue will have? So, Purdue lost their coaching staff when Jeff Brom left, so a lot of players transferred out of Purdue, and they're good players. I think Lawrence Johnson has a chance to be in the rotation for Auburn, right? I think so. But when people look at that defensive line, I want to say they have Marcus Harris already. So Johnson's not like right up front. I think he's backing up Harris. And the other kid, the kid Falk coming in, the freshman. Falk looks like a beast. Not Kevin Falk. It's like Keldrick or Kevin. Something like that. But beast. So more power to him. I'm excited. Be in the rotation for sure. Any thoughts on guard Spivey for Mississippi State being declared ineligible 2 days before game day? Grad transfer, NCAA taking care of the kids again. Once again, if you are ineligible from transferring, my biggest issue is you already knew you were ineligible. We don't get the results until after the appeal. Don't worry. The NCAA did not turn this kid away 2 days before the game. They turned him away 2 months ago, 3 months ago. The school does an appeal, and then they announce when the NCAA rejects the appeal. We don't hear about it until after the appeal. So they just applied slowly. Not my problem, bro. NCAA doing their thing. Integrity of the game. Northern Colorado versus Abilene Christian tonight. Any thoughts? Abilene Christian got 2 great transfers in the transfer portal, 2 Power 5 transfers at running back. Northern Colorado got some good transfers as well. Obviously, a new coaching staff, having lost the McCaffreys. So it sounds like a good FCS matchup. Power weights, bro. Heavyweights, I'm sorry. Northern Colorado quarterback. He's a kid who was at Utah, transferred to Troy, couldn't play. What's his damn name? He was like a super 4-star guy, dual threat dude. Used to run a 10-8, 100 meters. Northern Colorado's got a great quarterback. I forgot his name. Good kid. I'll see it, and it'll trigger. You guys will let me know. Do you think Logan Diggs is the best running back at LSU? Sure. He's good. Arkansas record prediction. Where's Arkansas? Give me a second. I got to find them. I know they're playing a home game. Right? Am I tripping? Isn't Arkansas hosting the game? Where is it at? Damn it, Barber. Am I tripping? Who they playing? It's just, I just keep scrolling past it. Nobody's going to tell me. Go slow. Who's Arkansas playing? It's got to be up here somewhere. Oh, there it is. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Arkansas, win. I think they beat BYU. I think they lose to LSU. I think they beat A&M. They're going to lose at Ole Miss. They're going to lose at Alabama. That's tough for them. That's 3 losses. I got Arkansas with 3 losses. I believe in KJ Jefferson though, but I got him 3 losses. So give me 9-3, Arkansas. That's a rough go. You have to go on the road against LSU, on the road against Bama and Ole Miss in a 4-week period. That's unfortunate for them having all those games on the road. That's just the reality of the situation. Wish they had another conference game. Instead of these FIUs down here. That's the bullshit. Everybody else in the world is playing a conference game down here. They're playing FIU. That's the bullshit. Somebody called the cops on that one. Sorry about that. Think they might lose 3 games. Rico, why are the games taking so long to start? They just, hey, man, they want people to get off of work and get to the games. Do you think Cade McNamara will perform at Iowa, and will he lift them to be average? I'm sorry, let me get back into the chat properly. Guys, I am going to have to cut the game short, the season short, or I'm going to stop in 5 minutes. I apologize. Get back over here. Do you think Joe Milton can become a future first-round pick? I don't guess at that kind of shit. Coming out of college, who were your top 3 quarterbacks in the 2020 draft? I don't remember. Sanders or Judkins? I like Judkins a lot. Rico, who are the top SEC D linemen and linebackers? Perkins. 2 of them play at LSU. Spites and Perkins. Obviously, the kid at Alabama, Dallas. They tell me Princely's on the list. I don't know. If I'm missing people, I just want to go really fast here. I apologize, guys. Is LSU going to win? Yes. No. Believe the Devin Leary hype. Yeah, I think he's fine. I think he's good. I think he's got good weapons. He'll do well. He's better than Levis. Better than Will Levis. Didn't know TCU offensive coordinator was the quarterback's coach at FSU during Shador's recruiting. Colorado TCU just got more spicy. No, don't worry about it. 11 players got to play against each other. Man, you should be an NFL scout without a doubt. Do you have a scouting service? You definitely could have one. You are better than the people at Rivals and On3. Yeah, it's just me, bro. For now, it's just me. And I'm just making videos looking at kids on their high school tape. I do have some high school recruits, 4-star kids, telling me they're going to tell me where they're going to school, where they're committed to, before On3, 24/7 or Rivals. They're going to tell me before ESPN. I'm going to be breaking news on kids commits come December. They're going to tell me where they're going first. So we'll be the ones breaking that. I have at least 2 4-star kids locked in to do that. So, and the numbers will grow as they trust us more and they trust me more. But that's what we're doing. That's why we do high school film reviews. Try to do as many videos as I can on Fridays. Enjoy the game tonight, everyone. Thank you. Ole Miss, top 3 offense in the SEC. I believe so. I like KJ. Watched him in person a couple years ago against them. Yep, dude's every bit of 6'3", 250. Yeah, I think he's a beast. How would you rank the SEC defensive lines? Georgia, Bama, A&M. I'm torn. I want to say Missouri, but they got some transfers. Tennessee, like there's just it gets a little murky from there. Why the game's taking so long? Tez Walker going to play? No, he's not eligible. Respect that. I'm betting gone, though. Okay. Do you think Cade? I think Cade's injured. Thoughts on Notre Dame this year? Not today. It's SEC. Rico, why the game's taking so long to start? Please don't ask me more than once. Yo, is it possible to walk on as a quarterback to a JUCO with no high school experience? Sure, you could try. You just show up, start going to spring practice, see what happens. Thanks for showing love to all portal players. You got it. Small schools included, like A&T, Elon. Big respect to you, Unc. I appreciate you. Yep, I do my best. Give me some Mitch Griffiths analysis for Wake. I talked about him on Monday. ACCs are Monday. Go watch the podcast from Monday. My friend called me an idiot last night because I said Rule would turn Nebraska around. Can't wait to be right. Yeah, you can. You're going to have to wait. It'll be about 2 or 3 years, but he is right. He is going to do it. How do you feel about Greg Brooks from LSU? I don't feel any type of way about him. What up, Rico? Loved your video on Femke Bol. She's a beast. Yes, she is. Nah, I'm going to say it again. I'm in the Navy in Iceland right now, and time to change was telling da-da-da-da-da, tomorrow da-da-da-da-da. Okay, if you're in the Navy, I don't know if you're enlisted or you're an officer. If you're enlisted, I'm an E8, so I'm like a senior chief. So I'm just going to tell you, at ease. That's what we say in the Army. Don't talk to me anymore, all right? Get out of my office. Who should I watch for during the Kent State-UCF game? You should watch UCF, John Rice Plumlee, every single play. Just watch John Rice Plumlee. He's amazing. He's spectacular. He's a star. He's everything you're looking for. UCF starting quarterback, dual threat, white dude, can run and do it all. Johnny Football 2.0. Give me some Wake Elon analysis. Come back, go on Mondays, bro. I talk about Wake on Mondays. What is your opinion on the current college football playoff format? It's fine. I don't worry about it. It's going away after this year. If you're talking about the 12-team playoff, obviously they want to change the 6 auto bids to the highest conference champs because that's going to give you 2 Power 5 champs. They don't want 2 Power 5 champs in there. That's fine. They're going to go to 5. That's fine. Deion Walker, defensive tackle from Kentucky. Thoughts? When I watch Kentucky tape, most of their defensive linemen don't look great to me, but they got to be good. Certain guys are transferring and leaving. And Deion Walker, I've actually specifically looked for him. I think I watched his huddle tape, and I thought, okay. And that's where I feel about it. Like, I'm sorry, guys. A lot of these dudes, when I watch the tape, they're just man amongst boys in their high school tape. They're not doing anything else. I can't get past it. You're going to crush whoever's in front of you because you're bigger and stronger. We'll assess them throughout the season, though. Rico, Deion is getting slammed for saying he's not a Florida State Seminole. Hey, be what you want to be, bro. I'm not from California. Peter Costelli. There it is, Peter Costelli. Star quarterback out of California. Went to Utah, couldn't start. Went to Troy, couldn't start. Now he's at Northern Colorado. Stud quarterback. Remember that. Rico, love your stuff. Do you think Nevada or UNLV will win the Cannon this year? I like UNLV a lot. I like Nevada a lot. Both of them did well in the transfer portal. Both have new coaches. Shout out to them. I like everything about both the teams. I think they're both on an upward trajectory. I know somebody's got to lose, but I like them both. No Tyler Brown, Alto, Travis J. Grant, Juju Mitchell, Carter Stoutmeyer, starting corner. No tight end, 2 offensive linemen from last year's 2. Travis Hunter playing both ways against top-tier talent. No. Tyler Brown, Alto, Travis J. Brennan Gant, Juju Mitchell, Carter Stoutmeyer starting that corner. Yeah. Jesse, it's a lot going on there. I want you to use punctuation next time. I can't tell what you're trying to say, but I know what you're trying to say. Can you give us a clue into what the heck Ole Miss is doing with their quarterback room and all these recruits coming in? Feels like they're filling the coffers with quarterbacks. Thanks, Rico. Yeah, I've talked about this in many videos. All these kids are falling in love with playing for Lane Kiffin, and they're not listening. Only one guy gets to take the snaps and play. So a lot of these kids are going to transfer out and leave. I don't understand it. Doesn't make sense to me. I'm not a fan of what they're doing. Shout out to Charlie Weiss Jr. He's the quarterback's coach, and he's the one convincing these kids to go there. It's rat poison, bro. It's not it. Reply tomorrow to Mo Fantasy. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm shocked you don't have 200,000 subscribers or a job at ESPN or something. You know your stuff 100%. Thank you, Roderick Henderson. Well, let's keep going, man, till somebody notices, right? FIU has the worst quarterback in college football. That dude is horrible. No, I don't want to go down that path, but I can identify worse players. Definitely. What game are you looking forward to the most this weekend? Colorado TCU for sure. What is Arkansas's biggest liability for a successful season? Their schedule. What would you start at quarterback if you were Bama? I'd start Milroe. He's dynamic and athletic. Did you know before the season Josh Allen from Kentucky would be a lottery pick? I try not to predict things before seasons or how NFL GMs draft people. By the way, 11:39, let's go. Mizzou +8 this year. Okay, 8+ this year. Wow. Quite the guess. What do you think of the deal is with Spencer Sanders going to Ole Miss? So I think Spencer Sanders is hurt. I don't think he's healthy. I think he needs shoulder surgery, and he can't play the game. He can't play the position at quarterback. I think he can't. He went to Auburn and did not pass a physical. That's why he didn't go to Auburn. And then when he transferred to Ole Miss, they didn't give him a physical. I have insider information on this, so I try not to go into too much detail, but I just tell you, I don't think Spencer Sanders is ever going to play quarterback for Ole Miss. Maybe they might let him play after if Jackson Dart does terrible, but Jackson Dart's the guy, and we'll never – that's why they're bringing so many quarterbacks. Spencer Sanders is not one of them. He's just on the roster. Thoughts on Jaden Daniels from LSU? I think he's a stud. Not SEC, but anyone I should be watching for on Arizona State. If you're watching the game, more power to you. But, yeah, Cameron Scadaboo. Scadaboo, the running back, transfer from Sacramento State. Costelli threw multiple interceptions in practice every day at Troy. Thoughts on Karen Valentin making the 53 after falling to the 7th round? Yeah, I initially said I didn't think it was very good. Congratulations for, defying the odds. One of my verified misses in the 259 guys that I assessed, I'm allowed to get about 25 wrong. He's one of them. Still batting over 90,000. What do you think about Trey Hawkins starting for the Giants? Probably cornerback number 1. 6'3", coming out of ODU. I like his size, and I like what he's doing. Shout out to him. What games are you watching start to finish on Saturday? I watch as many as possible, Counts. Where can I find details on the Rico Knows Challenge? So the details are on multiple videos. Go on the channel here. You can, if you're on YouTube, it's definitely one of my more recent videos. So look around, and you'll see the walkthrough and the tutorial on how to do it. You can also find it on TikTok, but it's hard because I post a lot of videos there. But you just go to ESPN. You go to the fantasy. You go to fantasy at the very top. Boom. You can do it on your phone. You pick the games, and you'll go to College Pick'em 2023, I'm sorry. 3 things will pop up telling you to do your picks. When you do make your picks, it'll come up with 3 options. Pick competitive. Competitive is the pick you want. And then once you go to competitive, you're going to go join a group, and you're going to join Rico Knows. And we are currently, I think, 7th in the world on ESPN right now. We don't have 200,000 followers, but we definitely have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we're 7th in the world. We're ahead of an ESPN Street Confidence group. We're the truth, and they're going to know about us. We just keep putting the pressure on them. Rico Knows all day long. Appreciate you guys. Hey, guys, I'm going to call it a show. The game's starting in about 25 minutes. I got to go grab something to eat. Shout out to everybody. Thank you guys for the support. Remember, your friends don't know, but Rico knows. Stay safe, y'all. Peace.
Who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean and no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you. I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean and no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
I do this for the kids who sit a bit outside the mix, who maybe cope through humor just to fit in for a bit, who never let the world know when depression's setting in. To all of those who know you, that impression don't exist, and it ain't counterfeit, it's just a way to counter it. I'm living things I dreamed about, I still encounter it. It ain't something that a cigarette or alcohol can fix, but all because of it I flipped it quick, went on to write some hits. This a success, off another breath. This the first step in searching to be nothing less than be the best in what you do, to prove their strength in being you. Learn so much in chasing dreams that I never would in school. Depends on where your passion lie, just no passion never lie. Life presents distractions, but your actions have to fortify the things that you believe in. Have to scream it like a battle cry, and leave the ones who didn't looking stupid while they're asking why. Couldn't lie, I really do this for the ones I love, those who treat the music as a vice.